This episode of Real Estate Real World is brought to you by LionDesk CRM. Discover why so many people have already made the brilliant decision to switch to LionDesk. With over 100 integrations and video, email, and texting, LionDesk isn't just a CRM. It's everything you'll ever need in a great follow-up system. Learn why thousands of real estate professionals have already made the switch by visiting them today at liondesk.com. Use the code REALWORLD and get 50% off your first 2 months. No credit card is even needed to get started today.
Welcome to Real Estate Real World, where we talk to the movers, shakers, and leaders that are getting it done right now in the real estate industry and beyond. Your host is Marguerite Crespillo, and she started this podcast simply to talk to cool people about what's really happening in this crazy roller coaster ride of real estate. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and stay up to date on the newest stuff by adding yourself to the list at www.realestaterealworld.com. Now your host, Marguerite Crespillo.
Welcome, everybody. It's Marguerite Crespillo, and it is a fabulous day here in Northern California where I'm at. It's also supposed to be 111 degrees today, so I'm happy to be staying inside and interviewing my very next guest that I'm excited to have here today on Real Estate Real World. So welcome to the show, Linzee.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, let me tell a little bit about her. So Linzee is the founder of Ciprani.
Yep,
Did I say it right? Oh my goodness. Ciprani Consulting, a recruiting and training company that specializes in the field of real estate. This company has placed and trained over 300 talented individuals within the real estate world. In addition, Linzee is the founder of Roundtable Real Estate Services, a real estate team within KW that uses the processes and systems of Ciprani Consulting. Roundtable was built from the ground up this year, and her team is on track to close between $26 and $30 million in their first year in business. Wow.
Yeah.
Prior to owning her own companies, Linzee was the COO, owner of the Jesse Johnston real estate team, and listing operations manager of the Matt Fedek real estate team.
Yep.
Linzee holds a bachelor's degree from Pennsylvania State University with an emphasis in communications. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
So we were talking about it, and I think you were referred over to us by Christy Beltman, who is awesome, right?
Yes, she is the best. She is like the queen of admin is what I call her.
Totally, and we did a great podcast with her. So for those of you listening today, you're going to definitely want to pop on over and listen to that podcast with Christy because it was actually one of our most popular shows. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's pretty amazing. So tell me a little bit about you. Like, how long have you been in the real estate business?
Yeah, I'm actually getting up there. I'm almost 10 years in real estate, which is hard for me to even think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started out, Matt, actually, I had known Matt my whole life, and he recruited me into his business and came alongside of him to help him grow his team. I mean, he is... if you don't know about him, he's got one of the biggest teams in our area, if not the biggest. And he is growing leaps and bounds. They expanded into London and offices all over the place. So he's a big deal. And I got a chance to learn from what I say the best. Had 2 kids, and then my priorities changed a little bit. Yeah. And I felt like, you know what, maybe I'll do some real estate on my own and be with them more. And actually, it was kind of funny because these 2 businesses kind of birthed into more than I had imagined. And before I knew it, I wasn't even with them all the time anymore. But very thankful for everything that's kind of come to fruition here. And that's how I got started. And that's how long I've been here so far.
And where are you located? You're in Pennsylvania?
I am. I'm right outside of Westchester, Pennsylvania. So we're outside of Philadelphia.
Okay.
And in a university town. And Chester County is the most beautiful area in the world.
Aww. And how big is the town that you work in? What's the demographics of it?
Yeah, you know what? That's a really good question, actually. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm from a smaller area right outside of
Okay.
Westchester
Hmm.
in Kennett Square. That's the mushroom capital of the world.
Oh.
Believe it or not. Yep. So,
I didn't
and
know there was a mushroom capital. I learned something new
oh
today.
yeah, yes. Apart from China and Japan, yeah, we're it. But yeah, you know what? That is, it's. I know it's getting larger, and Chester County is. Gosh, I don't even know. That's a really good question, though. I'm gonna find out now.
No worries, no worries. Well, so tell me about this. So I'm curious from being on a large team with Matt, and honestly, obviously a male dominated team. What's
Yep.
the difference, you think, between how you run your team and how he runs his team? Like, I always like to see the different dynamics between kind of the way men do things and the way women do things.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome question, actually. You know what? I think that it's funny. We attract who we are, right?
Right.
And I think that in a lot of ways, Matt and I have some similarities. I cry more than he ever would. In fact, that was something that happened on a regular basis. I'd go in there, I'd be like, I don't know what to do. He'd be like, stop crying. But yeah, so I think that really at the end of the day, for me, everything has been so centered, especially with my team. It's so centered around my family and everybody else's families. And Matt has just started a family, so I think I just started out in that way before
Right.
he did.
Right.
And so once that family started and I had kids to take care of, I think it became all about them. They became my big why. And it's funny because I think he would probably say he's now tracking along with me in that
Right.
way. But man, he is a high D personality. So he's that driver, and that is, I mean, he just drives and drives and drives. He even had a point where he got sick, and he powered through that like nobody I've ever seen. So if there's one big difference, he's that big time driver, and I'm probably more that high I caring about everybody person.
Right.
Everybody becomes family for me. So,
Which there
which can
needs to
be.
be that, yeah, there needs to be that balance too,
Yep.
right? I mean, I completely get it because I actually am a high D personality,
Yeah.
but the
Yep.
majority of the people on my team are high I's, right?
Yes. There you go.
And for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, we are talking about the disc profile, which is a great test that I think every human being on the planet should take because it really gives you an indication of what your personality style is, but more importantly for me, it helped me understand other people's personality profiles, right? And what was most important to them and how to focus in not only working with people like that, but managing them, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's something actually that I loved about Christy Belt's class. That all the admin that work for me. So I'm a high DI, but I think I lead with my eye a lot more especially than he does. But she talks about printing out the disc and printing out specifically the page that talks about how to react and interact with other people.
Right.
And we hang it in our office. In fact, mine's right there. And it says like communicating tips and the description. And so when people come in here, they need to remember how to communicate with me because
Right.
they're coming into
That's
my
a great
space.
idea.
It is it's a great idea. And really, with everything that I do with Ciprani Consulting, it's all about, looking at assessments and looking at personalities and who would jive with the other person and how do we complement them yet still set them up with somebody who's going to, deliver the results that they need. And DISC plays a huge part in that for me. It's just, it drives everything about my business and everything about the individuals that are here. And that's how we figure out if we're all going to jive together, right? We're going to have a good balance on the team.
So talk to me a little bit about Ciprani Consulting. Like, what exactly do you guys do and how did that come to life? Where did that come from?
Yeah, so when I left Matt and went out and started to sell real estate on my own, I had a number of people try to recruit me to their team so that I could run their team as well. And instead of doing that, I thought, well, you know what? Let me just kind of see if I can't help you find the right person for your team, because I don't want to do that anymore. And let's just see if, maybe I can stay on and train them a little bit. So it was kind of for fun in the beginning with a couple people that I really enjoyed working with. We had done deals together in real estate. And so it was one of those things where I was like, hey, let me help you. And out of that, I kind of birthed Ciprani Consulting. It was kind of funny because here I was trying to sell real estate, and Ciprani Consulting was what caught on fire to the point where my coach was like, well, what's going to make you more money? And I was like, definitely the real estate. I was like, but there's something happening on this side, and I need to do it, I think. And so that's what happened. We started to pursue that because it was really truly, when you looked at my gifting and who I was for Matt's team, it was recruiting great talent and training them. And that's the part that I loved about the real estate team. It wasn't the real estate.
Well, and the interesting thing is that coming from somebody who's a high D, one of the biggest challenges we face is hiring the right people, getting those right people in place, because I'm sure you already know this, is that I lack patience, right?
Yes.
And it's not my greatest strength. And so having the patience to really find the right person is a challenge enough. But then on top of that, trying to put the systems in place and training those people. Like, I need to go sell houses. Like, I don't have the time to do that, right? Is that what you hear a lot from people like me?
Oh my gosh. Well, and it's funny. I always tell people I feel like I fell into something that nobody was doing yet. And now there's actually a number of people trying to do it too. But I kind of fell into this hole that was lacking in the real estate world. And it is, I'm actually really bad at hiring for myself. I hire my own company to do that for me because I too will go too fast. And really, the process that's in place, if you follow a process and you truly, get to know somebody, you're going to make the right hire 9 times out of 10. And, I always tell people the best thing I think I was ever taught with hiring is truly be slow to hire and quick to fire, because you're really not going to know until you get them in there. You could ask them a million questions, and once you get in there and they're not jiving with you and they can't, keep up with you, especially a high D, man, those people have to be really responsive and quick. And, it's once they get in there, you're going to see them either sink or swim.
Well, and I'm all I can think about is how many I've been in real estate 23 years, so yeah. I've been doing this a long time, and I have had an assistant from within 6 months of getting into the real estate business. I had to hire an assistant. I'm like, there's no way I can do this, and I was pretty quickly successful out of the gate. But I attribute that honestly to hiring somebody quickly. Now, obviously, I've made a few poor choices over the years. Much as I hate to admit that, it's the truth.
Yep.
In either hiring a friend or, a family member because they needed a job, hiring them for all the wrong reasons, hiring them because of what they needed, not what I needed, right?
Right.
And that has been the biggest challenge. And then I hate firing people. Like, I'll drag it on for years. I had one person, literally 3 years I should have let her go, And I would just procrastinate. I mean, this was years ago when I first got started. I would just procrastinate, and to the point to where they didn't want to be there, I didn't want them there, and neither one of us were brave enough to say, we got to go separate ways,
Right. Yeah, and I think that's it's so common. I mean, it's hard to fire people because you're taking their life and you're changing it, and you're changing the dynamics of where their money's coming from. So it's just it's a heart thing. Yeah, but it truly is. I mean, the more that I've done it, which I've been doing it for years now, but the more I've done it, the more I know that, man, everybody knows it's coming. Like, if you're constantly like, hey, no, you didn't do this right, and it's a constant battle, and you're having those conversations, and they can just tell that you're frustrated, they're frustrated, they know it's coming, and it's normally such a good thing once it happens. But it's hard to do, for sure.
Yeah. So how do you determine what somebody needs?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's funny. There's a million assessments out there, and I use, so I am using the KPA assessment, which is a Keller Williams assessment, and I do love it. But I will tell you that the DISC really, more than anything, helps me. Now, I say that, and it should only be 20% of what we use in order to hire, right? So, you know, yeah, it should only be 20%. But the disc really, with regard to somebody like you, if I know you're going to be a high D, I know that you have to have an SC alongside of you. And I can throw a little I in there sometimes, but the more I, the more emotions, and the more it's just not going to jive
Take
with
things personal. Yeah.
too much. Yeah, and so really that's why I love the disc so much, because as long as I know who you are, I can really try to pair you up pretty well. And there's funkiness with the disc too, right? Like I can find a DC that would go fabulously with you, as long as we make sure that everybody knows who the boss is.
Right.
And it actually might be the assistant, right? If we have a DI and they're both high, they might be like, I need them to manage me, and they're the boss, and they're okay with that. And I found ICs or CIs, which are very abnormal and very strange, but they can be really good. And so it's really a matter of knowing that, and then truthfully going through the process, really getting to know them, understanding who, what their family life looked like, what was their trajectory. Did they go into each job and climb the ladder, and were they promoted every single time? That's somebody I want near me every day of the week. Were they athlete and always were trying to win? Like, I want them on my team.
So funny thing, my team manager right now, she joined me last September. She is an SC. And she had worked for 20 years as a project manager for like Intel or something like that. Yeah. And at first I was a little hesitant, right? I was thinking, oh, maybe she might not be, a good fit or something like that. She might be I might not have the patience with her. And she is, without a doubt, in 23 years, the absolute best person I've ever had work for me. I'm like, every day I beg her, please don't leave, please don't leave, please don't leave. I'm like, please, what do you want? I'll give you anything you want. Don't. It's like I'm a little stalkerish.
Yeah.
But she really has become. I can't live without her. At this point. And I've had some great employees. Don't get me wrong. I've had some really great staff. Like my last staff person, Heather, was fantastic. She was a high I. Which worked a lot during that time. But it ultimately, she has now become a real estate agent and loves it, and she's extraordinary at it. Like, that's where she should have been all along, and I'm so happy to see her now. She's an agent on my team as to what she's doing. But it's really, I can't live without Vicky. I have to go out there right now and give her a kiss.
And that is, what? It's funny. Like, I wouldn't have hired myself for Matt, right? Yeah. Matt hired me, but I wouldn't have hired myself for Matt. And the reality is, because I also think we don't think about people that could potentially be entrepreneurial as well. So, I mean, there's a bit of that in me, right? Like, I wanted to do things my way, and I had good, or what I thought were great ideas. And, and so, not that he didn't let me do those things, but there was always this itch of, can I do it?
Can you do it on your own? Right.
And if there's that itch, there's a lot of people out there that don't need to do it for themselves.
But it also, too, I would imagine that he was able to bring that entrepreneurial spirit out in you a bit, too, where maybe you didn't see that as much before, and gave you the confidence to go do your own thing, right? Like, you might not have had that confidence until you met him, and he was able to bring that side of you. Like, I know with Heather, she didn't have the confidence to go be an agent because, you know, she has a family to feed and she needed the income. And I was like, you can do this, and it took me a while, but we were able to get her out there to do it. And now she's thriving, she's doing fantastic. So, not that she didn't have the confidence, it's just, a lot of the market shifts and things like that. But I'm so excited for her where she's at now. And, I kept pushing her. I'm like, go, go, go. You can do it, So I think that there's a dynamic in there, too, that helped you probably get out there and be more confident and be able to do this.
Absolutely. I mean, I even tell, I've told people like when they talk to me about my scripting or, oh, you're right on point. I'm like, well, I learned from one of the best,
Yeah.
because I really got to sit there and listen to him, right? My office was next door. So I watched him with a headset on, cordless because
Right.
wireless, because he could never just sit there,
Sit still.
walking around the office and just talking to person after person after person. And man, if you're just listening to that and you're near that greatness, you're going to pick up some of it.
Yeah.
And I was really lucky. So I had a lot of that. And, more than anything, I think he would have been the person to push me to be better and to be bigger. And I think that the family and being a woman, and trying to think, okay, could I do this on my own? Like, what does this look like? And, could I go be a mom part time and still be in the
Yeah.
work world? There was something I just needed to try for myself to see, if I could do it.
What would you say some of your challenges have been in doing
Oh
this?
gosh. It's so funny because this year has been crazy because I was partnered with somebody else in my real estate work. Because what I was going to do was take Ciprani Consulting and just really, build that thing and really do a great job with it. So what I needed to do was take all of my real estate business and throw it somewhere. And so I partnered with somebody who made me a partner in their team, and we worked really well together. His name's Jesse Johnston, and we did that for a year. And then Jesse got this amazing opportunity to go work for somebody who we really respect, and took that opportunity. And the team was left with, what do we do?
Right.
Some of them went with that opportunity, but it was really far away. And then some of them came with me, and we stayed at a Keller Williams and started a team, from
Right.
scratch. So I feel like this year more than anything, we talk about failing forward, that I have just really done that well. I have made so many mistakes that I can't even tell you. There's so many times when I look back and I'm like, man, I wish, I so understand all the people that have been doing this for years now, and understand the struggle of losing agents that you don't want to walk out the door, and how to keep them happy, and how many, am I bringing enough leads in, what am I doing or what am I not doing to keep these talented individuals here. And I have learned, I've literally feel like in the last couple months I have just gone through all of that. I mean, we hired an assistant, and we had some personal issues there, and we had to fire her, and that was, in 3 months. And, so it's funny.
And you're like, wait a minute, this is what I do for a living. How did I do that?
I should be really good at this. Like, everybody should be happy. But yeah, we were building a team from scratch, and not a lot of people have done that. So, I feel like, all the systems and everything that I put into place with Ciprani Consulting for everybody else, man, doing it for myself,
Yeah.
and just continuing to push forward, I think was
Well,
crazy this year.
I think that we learn the most by teaching others, right? And then when we have to experience it, it's like, oh my goodness, wait a minute. Like, I've had the poster on my wall since the day I started in real estate that is the famous Michael Jordan quote.
Oh, I love it.
Right? That's, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I have failed over and over and over again. That is why I succeed. And I can't even tell you how many times I've failed, So people, they see where you are now and they think, oh, that looks so easy, right? You're like, oh my goodness. Like, I had to walk through a swamp with alligators and snakes to get here. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and that's, I think I have so much appreciation, for somebody like Matt now. I'm like, man, like, it's just, until you're doing it, you really, you don't know. You have no idea what it feels like.
And it's so funny. I can't even tell you how many people I've had come back to me, the agents that I've trained, staff people I've had over the years who've come back to me now and said, I had no idea. I had no idea. And I've done the same. I've contacted, like my mentor that I learned under, a guy named Luigi Caprio, love him to death. And I only worked for him less than a year. And then I thought I knew it all. So I went and opened my own brokerage, because that's what you do when you've been in real estate 8 months.
Yeah.
And I remember not too long ago, I had lunch with him. I said, you know what? I had no idea. I'm like so grateful for him now and the lessons that I learned. Because he used to just put me in his car
Yeah.
Hey, guys, let's go for a drive. And I'd be like, they want to see houses. And he'd go show them houses. I'd be like, okay. They want to write offers. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like he just kind of threw me into the fire, which I thought wasn't the best way to learn. But for me, he'd just throw me in the car. Let's go for a ride, girl. And we'd go for a ride, and he'd yak the whole time and tell me all this stuff. And I'd be soaking it in. I had no idea. I had no idea what it took.
Yeah. Yep. No. And I do think walking through the fire is just it's a great way to put it, because, and we just put that, the quote from Michael Jordan up on our Ciprani Consulting page, because it resonates so much. I mean, it really is one of those things where, you could get stuck in the past. You could get stuck looking back and going, oh, I wish I had said that. I wish I had sent that email.
Exactly.
And I could get so stuck there. And it is in my, there's something in me that could get stuck there. And I've been, being coached out of that, which has been great. But yeah, you can get stuck there and really live in that space, or you can just move on and go, all right, next time, I'm not going to do that time. I'm going to be better. I'm going to be that better leader. I'm going to make that decision, faster or differently. And so lots of learning.
So is one of the things that you guys help do also is help an agent determine a structure for their team?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's one of those things I think, especially Ryan Doson's on my team, and he has helped build 2 different teams within Keller Williams. And I think that is one of the key things that we can do really well, is kind of look at all the players that you've got in a team and say, well, hey, maybe that person's just on the wrong seat of the bus. And really start to put the structure in place that helps build businesses, right? So we know that you need to be in touch with your clients on a regular basis, or your past clients. And so we can help you put those communication tools in place, like putting a 33 touch in place, or building an 8x8 that's not overwhelming, and touching somebody that you've just met. And so we kind of put all those things in place. We look at transactional things and really build out your database with you, and help you organize it and then communicate with it. That's the biggest thing.
So how does that work pay wise? Do you guys charge like a percentage or a monthly fee or by an hour? I mean, you don't have to talk about specifics. I'm sure it changes, but like if I wanted to hire a consultant like you, what would that look like for me?
Yeah. So actually, I've broken it down into monthly contracts. And so what we do is, with any admin hire, we're doing 6-month training programs, and those are really extensive. So we're going to build
train them. You actually train them?
Yeah. So myself and Ryan, and now we have Melissa and Kate that are helping out too. So, but yeah, we actually come alongside of these people. We talk to them for an hour a week, and we build out a Google Drive with them, and really I give them every template I have ever created at any business I've been in, and we help them build their own, right? So, and we hold them accountable. So with the admin programs, they're very extensive, because that's where I got my start. I was an admin. Even if I should have been an agent, I wasn't. And so I lived and breathed real estate operations, and I had to put a lot of tools in place for myself. And I had to use the CRM, because, if I'm not documenting who I just talked to, or using a checklist of sorts that's in there to keep me to keep me in order and where I'm going next, there was no way I was going to be organized closing 200 transactions. So, we really had to build our CRMs out and really have people use those and train them on that. And so what I've done is I've taken all that stuff, and we've created a ton of templates, and like I said, we hold people accountable. So that's our admin stuff. And then we have everything else: agent training and ISA training. All of those things are 3 months long, and it's $1,000 a month is what we charge. Okay.
For each one of those modules, or for, so if you were to hire an ISA, okay, go ahead.
Yep. So the ISA and the agent one is 3 months long, so it'd be $1,000 per month, $3,000 total, and then the admin stuff is for 6 months. Yep. So it's all $1,000 a month, and then the admin one is 6 months, so it's a total of $6,000, and then the ISAs and agents are 3 months, and that's $3,000. And the cool thing is they get full access to us, right? So we'll have ISAs that are training with us right now that'll text me and be like, I just got this objection. And I'll say, all right, well, this is what I would say, or here's a really great script, and we'll text it back. And then, we build that Google Drive out for every one of those positions. So we're going to talk through like what's your value proposition as a brand new, agent on somebody's team. You have never closed a deal. What happens when somebody comes up to you and says, well, you're brand new, so I'm going to use my aunt that's in the business, right? So we're going to talk through all that stuff. We're going to give you a value proposition. We're going to help you with scripts. We're going to build out an entire Google Drive with all those scripts. And then the cool thing is we actually videotape every single one of our sessions. And so we send it to the agent after we're finished, and we dictate, we say, hey, these are the things we went over. This is their homework. And that way they have a video arsenal of all of our trainings as well, so they could use that for future hirings if they wanted to. So.
And how do you do those videos? Do you do them on like Skype or something, or?
Yeah, we actually use Zoom.
Okay.
Love Zoom because you can share each other's computer screens. We used to use Skype, and we used to use Google Hangouts is also my favorite. So, and then what we do is we build it all out on a YouTube channel so that they have all their videos there, and they have like a channel that they can go back and look at it all. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So we're doing that, and then my team does all the same stuff. So every person that gets hired goes through Ciprani Consulting's training, and
do you use your team kind of like a case study?
I do. I tell everybody it's my petri dish. I really do. So if I'm going to try out a new farming plan or new postcards, I'm going to use it on my team, and we do a lot of things there. I build a lot there, right? So like we'll build professional communication journals for sellers, and we'll use that for a couple months and see how are our sellers doing with that. Are they even reading it? How do we make it better? And then all of those things, every time I build something new, it goes into the drive for Ciprani Consulting, so that we can talk people through like, hey, we're using this right now and it's been a really great tool, but maybe you could make one that's yours that might be even better.
So what's next for Ciprani Consulting?
Yeah.
Like what are your guys' goals? What's your big hairy version of where you want to be?
Yeah, that's a good question. What's next? So I have dreams of being at Keller Williams Family Reunion and Remax's big conferences with a booth where we are the number one training, consulting, and recruiting company for all things real estate. We have a strong desire to be the person that's behind every single big team, making it better. And so the big hairy goal would be to have pods. We're calling them pods, but a recruiter, a consultant, and an admin. And the hope is to have at least 10 pods going in the next 5 years.
That's very exciting.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It would be the recruiter will roll everybody into the consultant, and the admin will help with all of those details and the billing. And yeah, so we are trying to figure it out.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm with EXP Realty, and they have their national conference in October. So yeah, you guys should come out to that thing. And
I've been watching EXP. EXP's doing some cool things. And I had, do you know Pete Pavlik?
I do. I adore him. Yeah. I've not met him personally, but he's quite the guy with EXP. He does a lot in the cloud.
Oh, he's so funny. But he has been talking to me about it for months, so I know he really loves it and is excited about it. So.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that there definitely would be some probably opportunity for you on the consulting side for that, for sure.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
We would love that. We're actually, I have a chance I get to speak at Inman this.
Wow, in San Francisco? You're going to be there?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking about going. That's only like an hour for me, so I think I'm going to go down there for a day. I don't think I'm going to be there the whole time this year. Last year I was there the whole time, but I definitely am thinking about coming down for the day.
We'll have to meet up. That would be awesome.
I would love to. We'll have to have coffee or a cocktail. More
absolutely.
A glass of wine is more my speed. What days are you going to be there? Do you know?
I'm going to be there the whole time. So I figured if I'm going to go, I need to take it all in. So
it's fantastic. Have you been to San Francisco before?
I have. Well, I've been. It's funny. I just went to San Francisco for the first time ever, but I've never been to Inman at all. So I'm very excited to do all of it.
You're going to have an amazing time. Yeah. We'll definitely have to try to hook up when you're there.
Yeah, that would be great.
Well, Lindsay, this has been really an incredibly fascinating conversation. I feel like we could talk all day. But I know you got work to do, and so do I. And I'm really excited to learn more about your consulting. I know we do have a website for you, right? What's your website link?
Yep, so it's www.cipraniconsulting.com.
Awesome.
And you can find me on every piece of social media there is. So.
Yeah, and we'll definitely post links and everything to this on the show notes, as well as on our website at realestaterealworld.com. So
that'd be great.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been such a joy, and I look forward to meet you hopefully in San Francisco.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right, have a great day. Thank you
too.
Everybody, for joining us on Real Estate Real World. We love to talk to all of the amazing movers and shakers out there that are doing it. If you have any questions, please feel free to head on over to realestaterealworld.com and check us out. Be sure to head over to iTunes and give us a great review. It helps push our ratings up in the boost. So thank you so much. Make it a fantastic day.
Thank you for joining us today on Real Estate Real World, where we talk with masters and leaders in real estate and beyond on how we can raise the bar in our industry. Please subscribe over on iTunes. And while you're there, be sure to give us a review. Your reviews encourage us and help others find our podcast. For show notes and hot topics on what's going on right now in our real estate industry, hop on over to www.realestaterealworld.com and add your name to our email. Thanks again for listening. And go out there, be a part of the elite masterclass in raising the bar on the real estate industry.